games apiece as Game 5 moves back to Milwaukee. Stephen A. Smith joins us now from Toronto. He's got a special guest. He's got the pride of Lausanne High School out there in Memphis, Marc Gasol with the Raptors. Stephen A., take it away.
Yes, he is with me, Marc Gasol, the center for the Toronto Raptors. The series is now tied 2-2. You had 17 points, hit 3 3-pointers. What's the difference in your game from games 1 and 2 to games 3 and 4? Why have you been so effective over these last 2 games?
Looking at the basket more, being more aggressive, doing those things that you need to do. Have an impact offensively.
Talk to me about what happened with you guys and your mentality after games 1 and 2. What were you most concerned about? What were you most worried about, considering the way that y'all had lost those first 2 games?
Finishing possessions. I thought that, some stretches in game 1 and 2, we did a decent job defensively, but, we'll give up that offensive rebound, broken plays. So I thought that here we did a much better job of, taking away those easy baskets and continue to box out.
Talk to me about tonight, Game 4. Obviously, you won this game, tying the series. Kawhi Leonard clearly was not himself with that left leg injury. What was the mindset of the team? What were the kind of things you were telling each other that you needed to do with him clearly not being 100%?
Kawhi is always a trigger. Either he shoots it or he can create offense no matter what, because they pay obviously so much attention. He's a trigger for everyone else. So whatever movement he does opens up somebody else. So whenever he's in the court, he don't have to always score, but he's going to make somebody open.
Talk to me about Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry had 25 points in Game 4. Obviously, he had a big-time game in Game 1, but y'all lost that game. Tonight, he showed up again. What about the way he's been playing?
He's been playing great. On both ends of the floor, he's a guy that continues to play, make the extra play defensively. He's, more than willing to sacrifice his body for the team. And offensively, when he's aggressive like that, it makes us so much better.
Specifically, what have you guys been doing to neutralize the Greek Freak? I know he had 25 and 10 tonight. Obviously, in Game 3, wasn't so great at all. Only had 12 points in that game, but he clearly is not the same player that he was in Games 1 and 2. What have you guys been doing that's been working against him so effectively?
I think we're picking up a little higher. So when he goes to his move, it's a little far away from the basket, farther away from the basket. So that helps trigger the help defense. So I think we're doing a better job on that. We put Kawhi on him a little bit more. He's a pretty good defender.
What do you need to do in Game 5 to win Game 5 at Milwaukee?
Continue to obviously to have that same energy that we had on Game 3 and 4. The same mindset as far as offense goes. Be disciplined defensively. Have that willing mindset of helping each other and taking the next step, and scramble and try to win the game.
Marc Gasol, Stephen A. Smith, Michael Eaves, I'm doing your job. Back to you, man.
All right, well, let me allow you to do your job real quick. You can thank Marc here. Let me ask you this from your perspective, Stephen A. Marc gave some good insight there in terms of their better execution, trying to be a little more efficient on offense. Right. But from a mental standpoint, based on what we just saw in this game, who was affected more going back to Milwaukee for Game 5? The Bucks, who thought maybe they could sweep this series, or the Raptors, who now feel like they're right back in it?
Well, I think if you're the Raptors, you feel you're right back in it. But I think when you ask the question about who's been affected most dramatically, I think it's Milwaukee. It's not just because they lost Games 3 and 4. It's how they lost. After winning Games 1 and 2, I thought this series was over. I'm like, there's no way in hell that Toronto's going to come back. They looked undersized. They looked undermanned. You have Milwaukee hitting perimeter shots. And you know what? They really didn't have any answer because it was pretty much Kawhi Leonard and then everybody else. But watching Game 4 specifically tonight, right here, let me tell you something that I've noticed. Whether it's Brooks Lopez, whether it's Ilyasova, whether it's him, Lopez, or whomever, Mirotic as well, when they are guarding anybody on Toronto forces a switch, and then they put them in situations where it's against somebody that can put the ball on the floor, and they can't guard these guys. As a result, it's a mismatch in favor of Toronto. It's made their offense that much more effective, and I think that's what's been putting Milwaukee on its heels. What we're seeing is a bunch of individuals on Milwaukee outside of the Greek Freak that's devoid of the level of athleticism you would hope. They can hit perimeter shots. They definitely can make open shots. But when you get up and guard them, make them put the ball on the floor, make them make plays, they struggle offensively, and defensively, they struggle to guard folks in the open floor. Toronto has noticed that. They've utilized it to their effectiveness. They've taken advantage of it, and that's why this series is tied.
Hey, in the playoffs, it's all about the adjustments the losing team makes. The Raptors made adjustments Game 3 and 4. We'll see what the Bucks do when they get back to Milwaukee for Game 5. Stephen A. doing everything in Toronto. Appreciate it.
Great, but not terrible. 19 points. He had 4 steals, 7 rebounds, 6 of 13 from the field. The bench was unbelievable. It was about Ibaka, Powell, and Van Vliet. They were productive off the bench with 48 points. So Kawhi, maybe not his A game, but again, Ibaka, Powell, Van Vliet, the difference. Giannis, 25 points, 10 rebounds, got to the line 10 times. But as you can see, could not get his way into the paint. Toronto really surrounding him well in Toronto. Good news for the Bucks, since seeding began in 1984. One seeds are 60 and 74 in series that are tied 2-2. Primarily, they have, of course, 2 of the remaining 3 games at home. Hey, Coach Budenholzer, what's up?
It's probably the first night defensively where we're close to where you need to be to give yourselves a chance. So credit to Toronto. They obviously played well, had a lot of guys step up and play well. Their bench was very good. We need to look at the film and see, the areas where we can be better defensively and offensively. We're just going to have to be better. But we're going home, and it's 2 very good teams. It's going to be a hell of a series.
Middleton was good. Again, Giannis was fine. Obviously not quite MVP caliber, but solid. Brook Lopez was 3 of 5, shooting 2 of 3 from 3. Just didn't take a lot. But again, the bench for the Bucks was not good. And the Raptors was outstanding with Ibaka, Powell, and Van Vliet. So it's Giannis and Middleton with 55, but everybody else had just 47 points. Brogdon, 2 of 11.
Milwaukee tied at 2 games apiece. Raptors holding home court in Toronto.
So a lot is happening right here, right now on SportsCenter. John Butchergross, Michael Eaves. As I mentioned, Barry Melrose is over there. We'll talk to a member of the St. Louis Blues as that city is bumping, as you can imagine, Michael Eaves. And, of course, you're here to talk basketball with Tim Legler.
Yeah, what would have been Notorious B.I.G.'s 47th birthday, the Eastern Conference, the Bucks and the Raptors still trying to separate the weak from the obsolete. Game 4. Could Giannis and company get a win? They lost consecutive games once this season, 22-1. Following a loss, that's the best in the league. And Giannis came out like, excellence is my presence, never tense, never hesitant. Trying to give the Bucks the momentum early, try to put the Raptors away, and he put that dunk away with ease. And then here, Pascal Siakam tries to pick him up early. Blow by. Giannis, 11 points on 5 of 8 shooting in the first quarter. Now, so far this postseason, Kawhi has been responsible for 31% of the Raptors' points. In Game 3, he played a career high in the playoffs in minutes. He would get some help, though, in Game 4, and he would need it. Norman Powell would get an opportunity in the corner from 3. The miss, but Danny Green is there. Nope. Serge Ibaka, yes! Show you that one more time. Ibaka, and then rattling the rim, trying to get the fans hyped up. Nick Nurse. Yo, how about that? Raptors up by 10. Then here, Lowry to Powell. He knocks that one down. Raptors not named Kawhi Leonard scored 60 of Toronto's 65 points in the first half. That's